Standard 6th, Subject History, Chapter 1, The Indian Subcontinent and History. In this chapter, you will come across three important points. First, geographical conditions and the course of history. Second, geographical features of India. And third, the Indian subcontinent. So let's begin with the first point, the geographical conditions and the course of history. In the fifth standard, we saw at some length that there is a close relationship between man and his environment. We are closely related to our environment. We saw how the changes in the lifestyle of the early man and his technology were related to the changes in his surroundings. Man started developing technological ideas in order to develop. We also reviewed the history of human civilization from the Stone Age to the agricultural civilizations that flourished on the banks of the rivers. So, what exactly is history? History is a coherent account of the significant past events in the progress of human culture. So, this is the definition for history. Coherent means logical and consistent. So, what all is counted? Time, place, society, and individuals are the four major pillars of history. So, history comprises of four main pillars, which are time, place, society, and individuals. We cannot write history without them. Of these four components, place is related to geography or geographical conditions. So you can now relate history with geography. In this sense, history and geography are inseparable. History is influenced by geographical conditions in many ways. Let's have a look. Our diet, clothing, housing, occupation, in fact, all human life in any region depends to a large extent on its geographical characteristics. For example, the life of the people in hilly region is more strenuous than that of the people in the plains. Strenuous means it requires great efforts. So, not much fertile land is available in the hilly regions, while in the plains it is available on a large scale. That is why grains and vegetables are scarce, means less in hilly regions. In comparison, people on the plains get them in sufficient measure, in sufficient quantities. So, naturally, this has an impact on the diet of the people. In hilly regions, people depend more on hunting and gathering for their food. We also find such differences in the lifestyle of the people of the hilly regions and those of the plains. We can relate the differences in the hilly regions and those of the plains. Now, what all is important? The climate, rainfall, agricultural produce, flora and fauna, means the plant life and animal life is called flora and fauna of the region where we live are the sources of a livelihood. Means whatever we earn or whatever our lifestyle depends upon are these four important factors: climate, rainfall, agricultural produce, and flora and fauna. The lifestyle and culture of a region develops with their support. Human settlements have flourished wherever the means of living are plentiful. Wherever there are better opportunities, human beings settle there. So, over a period of time, these settlements develop further into villages and towns. But sometimes reasons like the degradation of the environment, drought, invasions, etc., lead to the scarcity of those means. People are forced to leave their settlements. Villages and towns become deserted. Deserted means place becomes empty of people. We see many such instances in history. Thus, we see that there is a very close relation between history and geography. Now let's learn about geographical features of India. Our country India extends far and wide. As at its north lie the Himalayas. So you can see the Himalayan mountain range towards its north here. To the east, the Bay of Bengal. So you can clearly see Bay of Bengal written here. To the west, the Arabian Sea. We can see Arabian Sea to the west, and at the bottom you can see the Indian Ocean to the south. Except for the islands of Andaman, Nicobar and Lakshadweep, the rest of the country is contiguous, means continuous within the land. We have to take into account this region, henceforth referred to as ancient India. When we study the ancient history of India, before 1947, today's Pakistan and Bangladesh were also a part of India. Okay, so the following regions are seen to be important when we look at the course of Indian history. First, the Himalayas. We are going to study about Himalayas in detail. Then the plains of Sindhu, Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers. So you can see Sindhu here. Sindhu means the river Indus. Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. Okay. Then you're going to learn about the Thar Desert, which is located here. Fourth, the Deccan Plateau, which is here. This is the Deccan Plateau in brown color. Fifth, we are going to learn about the coastal regions. The coastal regions which are on these sides, the tapering part of Indian Plateau. And then last, number 6, the island in the seas. The islands, you can see Lakshadweep Islands, and this side in the Bay of Bengal you can see Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So this way, let's begin with the points. The first one, for geographical features of India, we have Himalayas. The Hindu Kush and Himalaya ranges have created an impenetrable wall on the northern side of the Indian subcontinent. Impenetrable means impossible to pass through. This wall has separated the Indian subcontinent from the deserts of Central Asia. However, there is a land route through the Khyber Pass and Bolan passes in the Hindu Kush mountains. So you can see this land route here. This route was connected to an ancient route, which was also a trade route. The trade route from China, you can see in this map China here. So the trade route from China passed through Central Asia and reached Arabia. Okay, so this way we can see that a route is passing straight from China and it's moving from Central Asia and reaching Arabia. It is known as the Silk Route or Silk Road because silk was the main commodity, that is a valuable product exported to the Western countries using this road. The route passes the route through the passes was used by many foreign invaders to enter ancient India. Many foreign travelers also came to India by this route. So you can see the route from China marked in red, which is also called the Silk Route or the Silk Road, and it reaches up to Arabia. Okay. So that's all about Himalayas. Now let's move on to second point, which is the plains of the Sindhu, Ganga, Brahmaputra. So this region consists of the basins of three big rivers. You can see this map here. It is also in your textbook on page number 4. You can clearly refer to the map in your textbook. So this region, the plains of Sindhu, Ganga, Brahmaputra region consists of basins of three big rivers, namely Sindhu, Ganga, Brahmaputra and their tributaries. So Sindhu means the Indus River. You can see Indus River. Then we have Ganga and finally the Brahmaputra here. So this way, this region extends from Sindh in Punjab in the west to the present day Bangladesh in the east. It was in this region that the earliest Indian civilization of Harappa and the later states and empires of ancient India emerged. You can see an image of river Ganga alongside. Let's move on to the third point. The third point is the Thar Desert. The Thar Desert you can see in this picture. Now let's see it or locate it on the map of India. You can see it in the map of India. The Thar Desert is here. The Thar Desert spreads across Rajasthan, Haryana and some parts of Gujarat. A part of the desert lies in today's Pakistan. The desert has the Satluj river to its north. So in the north you will see the Satluj river here. Okay. The Aravalli mountain region or the mountain range to its east. So to the east we have Aravalli mountain range here. The run of Kutch to its south. So here we have the run of Kutch to the south of Thar Desert. And the Indus River to its west. So you will see the Indus River all over here to its west. The Ghaggar River, you can see the Ghaggar River here, okay, here, that originates in Himachal Pradesh, reaches the Thar Desert, okay. So this is how we learn about the Thar Desert. It is known as Hakra in Pakistan. Its course in Rajasthan and Pakistan has now dried up. Many sites of the Harappan civilization are situated along the now dry course of the river. So that's all about the Thar Desert. Let's move on to point number 4, the Deccan Plateau. The region between the east and the west coast of India tapers off to the south. You can see the east coast here tapers off, and from the west coast also the region tapers downwards. Tapers means becomes smaller towards one end. So here we see the region tapering towards the south of India. This region has the Arabian Sea to its west. You can see Arabian Sea to its west and the Indian Ocean to its south, and the Bay of Bengal is to its east. A region thus bound by the sea on three sides is called a peninsula. So all this region surrounding the Deccan Plateau you can see is surrounded by sea on three sides. It is called a peninsula. A major part of the Indian peninsula is occupied by the Deccan Plateau. So all the area that you can see in brown color here is the Deccan Plateau. The mountain ranges of the Vindhya, you can see Vindhya and Satpura here. Vindhya and Satpura are located to the north of the Deccan Plateau. The Sahyadri mountain ranges are to its west. These are the Sahyadri mountain ranges to the west of the Deccan Plateau. They are also known as the Western Ghats. To the west of the Sahyadris is the coastal region of Konkan and Malabar. So here you will see the Konkan region also. The mountains on the eastern side of the Deccan Plateau are known as the Eastern Ghats. So on the eastern side you have the Eastern Ghats. Deccan Plateau has fertile land where many post-Harappan agrarian cultures flourished. Means those who practiced agriculture in the Harappan civilization. Deccan Plateau was a part of the Maurya Empire, the largest in ancient India. After the decline of the Maurya Empire too, several other kingdoms and smaller empires continued to flourish in this region. So this is all about the Deccan Plateau. Let's move on to the fifth point, the coastal regions. From the time of the Harappa civilization, ancient India had trade relations with the Western countries. This trade was carried on by the sea. Therefore, India had developed contact and interaction with foreign cultures and people at the seaports. Later on, land routes came to be used for trade and transport, but the importance of sea routes did not diminish. Means the importance of sea routes have never become less. They are very important. So you can see the western coast of India and the eastern coast of India. This is the coastal region and very important for sea routes. Next, point number 6, we shall learn about the islands in the sea. You can see the Andaman and Nicobar Islands here. These are the Indian islands in the Bay of Bengal. And Lakshadweep over here is a group of Indian islands in the Arabian Seas. In the Arabian Sea. The location of these islands may have been important in ancient sea trade. The manuscript Periplus of the Arthurian Sea or Handbook of the Red Sea makes a mention of Indian islands. It has been written by an unknown Greek sailor. That means during ancient times, these islands were used for sea trade. So, we have learned the important geographical features of India with respect to ancient India. Now, this is a picture of Andaman Island. It's there in your textbook on page number 4. Let's learn about the Indian subcontinent. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro are in today's Pakistan. Afghanistan, you can see here Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and India together form the region known as South Asia. Considering the expanse and significance of India in this region, it is also known as the Indian subcontinent. The Harappan civilization had spread mainly in the northwestern parts of the Indian subcontinent. So, you will see in the northwestern parts here of the Indian subcontinent, the Harappan culture had been established. China and Myanmar, our neighboring countries, are not a part of South Asia or the Indian subcontinent. We see China here and Myanmar here. They are not a part of the Indian subcontinent. However, they had cultural and trade relations with ancient India. They have an important place in the study of ancient Indian history. In this chapter also we came across the Silk Route from China to Arabia. So this way we have come across many places in this chapter which relate to history. So now we are aware of the Indian subcontinent and the geographical conditions and the course of history. And hence we know that history and geography are inseparable parts. So hope students you have understood this lesson well. Kindly read the textbook for a better understanding. Stay safe, keep learning, and thank you.